If you are watching us on YouTube, I know you can sometimes see us before I can see myself. So we are just getting ourselves ready. It's nice to see you there. Um, I can't currently see. There we are. I can see it. There we are. So come in, say hi as you come in so that we know you're here. I can see that we've just gone live. Erica, nice to see you. The first person to comment. Tina. Artsy Gardener, Sharon, Toki, Naomi, Gabrielle, and then it's going to start going so fast that I can't keep saying everyone's names, but we do see you all. For some reason, I can't get this Zoom thing to go away out of my screen. I've got a Zoom companion that's been very annoying. Lovely to see you all, everybody. You can see we got the whole team here to answer questions today. So we're a few minutes early, so we're just going to let you all get in here. People coming in from all over the world. As it's going by so fast, I've seen Montreal and New York and Dusseldorf and Ontario and Quebec
Oh, it's so fast.
and Edinburgh, London, Ottawa, California, Germany, Yorkshire Dales. Yay. Hi, Carol. Not too far from me. Washington, so fast. So it is just so lovely that after all this hard work, you're still joining us for the last live call. And for though I know there are some people that are watching and you can't comment. And I just wanted you to know if you still haven't managed to figure out but the commenting, we are going to do another random draw and there'll be a couple more people chosen and we'll let you know. So if it turns out that you sign up for the course and then you're one of the people picked, we would just refund you. So don't worry about that. But we will pick a couple of random people because also Australian, New Zealand people haven't been able to join us live. So we want to give them a chance to win a free place as well. But we will have another free place tonight. And please, somebody remind me to announce that because I've been forgetting. So what we want to ask you is, while I'm just going to shortly go to Jamie and Carrie, but I want to let you know, please, if you have a question related to anything that we've been talking about, anything that we've been learning, put it into the comments with question beforehand, because we're still here on this call to help with what we've been learning in the reset. And after about 40 minutes or so, we're going to switch and I'll talk to you about the full course. So if you really have no interest in that, you don't need to stay any longer than that. I hope you'll stay because I got lots to tell you about it, but you don't have to. And the coaches will be able to go then as well. So put your questions into the chat because we're here to answer them and you've got everybody. So I can literally bring everybody in for their wisdom. And in the meantime, before we look at questions, yeah, captions, please. I can't see my captions. Hold on. There we go. Captions are on now. Thank you for reminding me, whoever said that you've already moved so fast. What I wanted to do before we get into answering your questions is just talk briefly to Jamie and Carrie. Astrid can't be here tonight, but these three people have worked like Trojans to get this free course up for you in the background, handling all of the things that we don't have to do as coaches. We just do the nice bit of talking about your artworks and they do the designing the graphics, posting the graphics, sorting out, making the web pages work, answering all of the technical questions and so much more that I haven't mentioned. So first of all, from the bottom of my heart, Jamie and Carrie and Astrid, although you're not here, thank you so much. Carrie, I know you're living the life of luxury at the moment in your limousine driving home from wherever you
Yeah, definitely a
what's it
limo.
been like for you? I think you're a bit, I think you might be muted, but what has this experience been like this year?
This year we've
Mm,
run into
we can't
can
hear
you hear me?
you. We can't hear you. Maybe you're still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Everyone can hear except me.
I can hear
Sorry.
you.
Hang on, hang on, hang on. I've got YouTube playing. There we go.
There
Sorry,
we go.
carry on.
Yeah, we've had a ton of people come in, both newbies and, experienced artists. So it's been really great to see that. We've had such a wide variety, of people come in and I know we hit some technical glitches along the way. I know some people were experiencing that. So I'm sure the whole team will say this, that we definitely want to, say we're sorry for anything that anybody ran into. We tried our best really to try to get back to you guys as quick as we could, but there was a lot of I mean, with I think Luis, it was what, 58,000 people or something like that. We have a lot. So we definitely did our best to try to get back to everybody as quick as we could. But it was just really cool to see all the different types of artists and definitely the mixture of people come in this year.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. And yes,
Yeah.
thank you for handling all those issues with the links in particular. We had a big technical issue with links. Some people were not affected and some people were. And we managed to find a kind of semi workaround, but we need to do a lot more work to figure out exactly what's going on. But thank you everyone for your patience for that. And again, thank you, Carrie. And Jamie, what about you? What's this been like for you this year?
It's been like Carrie was saying, we had a couple issues, but I think overall everything has been going well considering the number of people on the course. And I don't get to be in the Facebook group or see what's going on nearly as much as I would like, but every once in a while when I pop on, I just see all the artwork and oh my gosh, some of it is just it blows me away. And then the transformation stories that are already happening just in these 10 days like it's amazing. I wish I could be more involved in it, but from what I've seen it seems like it's going well.
And everybody, you've got to join in pushing Jamie to do the Find Your Joy course this year. She's got full access to it, so she's got no excuse. She's just got to find the time to do it. I don't know what you spend your time on, Jamie. I know you've got nothing better to do.
I'm just doing nothing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, both of you. It's so appreciated. I know everybody's saying thank you in the comments, so I'm passing on everybody's thank yous. I'm going to scroll my way back up and I'm going to look and see if I know there was a question really early on. So I'm going to see if I can get right back to that. Elizabeth, I'm finding the paint leads now. So let me see who I'm going to ask. I'll start with Cheryl. I'm finding the paint leads my end result. I need to take control, but as it transitions, I am trying to be free and follow its lead. Is this how others work?
Can you read that again, Louise? Sorry.
Yeah, so she's saying the paint leads. She says she needs to take control, but as it transitions, I don't know what transitions mean. I am
Yeah.
trying to be free and follow the painting's lead. So as the
hmm
painting changes, she's following the painting. Is this how other people work?
Yes, that's how I work. It feels like a conversation for me with the paint, that I'll make a mark and then I'll respond to what I just did and really follow whatever comes into my head or my heart or whatever it is that that wants to come next. So yes, I really am finding my way with the paint in the moment. So I'm trying to stay in the moment during the process.
Yeah.
And yeah, so trusting my intuition, knowing that there is no right or wrong way to do it. There's no right choice. It's just whatever choice I feel like making in that moment to respond to what I just put on the substrate, the canvas or the paper or yeah. So it is. It's for me, it is like a conversation with the paint.
It's funny, it's the same for me. And I was watching an artist on YouTube whose name I've forgotten. I'm terrible with names. It doesn't really matter. But Megan Rooney,
Oh,
a Canadian or American, I'm not sure. Really interesting abstract painter. And she was saying, oh, there are like 15 paintings underneath the one I end up
mhm.
calling the finished painting because they go through so many changes. And
Yeah.
I'd always, without realizing, kind of beaten myself up for being wrong about that. Like why did I completely change it when it was almost there and then I went
Mhm.
somewhere else? And I've always seen that as a bit of a downside of my process. And then in listening to her, I was like, no, she's really proud of it. She's explaining this is how it is for me. It takes me a
Mhm.
long time and a lot of paintings to get to the finished one.
Mhm.
So I'm much more confident now in that feeling of, yeah. And so it happens to me, by the way, everyone, where something that you think about yourself starts niggling at you. And then you hear, and that's why it's great to listen to other artists, because then you hear someone
Mhm.
else say it and you think, oh, okay. So I can just accept that about myself.
Mhm. And it's not always, for me, it's not always layer after layer after layer. If I'm really paying attention to what I love, if sometimes it'll just be a couple layers and I'll say, oh, this is done. This is where I want it to be. And then I will put it aside for a little while and not force it or not try and overwork it. Or I'm really trying to pay attention whether or not it's 20 layers or maybe 3 layers. So
I'm gonna thank you, Cheryl. And
yes, of course.
everything I knew, I gave you that question because I knew we're the same. So you've answered for
Yeah.
both of us. Um, Susan, let's talk about Dina. Dina wants to know how to not compare yourself with others who are much better than you. So I just want to say about this, and then I'll see what Susan thinks. But it's such, and this is not to put you down, Dina. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's such a ridiculous thing to do to compare yourself to someone else because the person you're comparing yourself to is going to have put in more time, more learning, more practicing than you have. So to compare yourself to them, it's like if I decided to take up jogging and then I said, well, I'm not as fast as Usain Bolt at marathons. It's like, okay, but what kind of compare? That doesn't make any sense. That's the fastest person in the world. Well, probably not anymore because I'm out of touch. But why would I compare myself to someone who's on a different level? Have you ever had that feeling, Susan?
Yes, lots. I think you've just got to remember that we're all on the same path and the same journey, but we're all at different stages. So, I couldn't like say compare myself to somebody who's right at the end, no, not at the end, but a lot further stage, who's been doing art a lot longer than what I am. And it's the same as a beginner, you've got all these stages to go through, and everybody is on different levels. And so when a beginner comes in and they're on, say, Facebook or something like that, and you often get this comment up and they say, oh, I feel so intimidated by, the compare and despair comes in, doesn't it? And it's an awful feeling. I've been there, we've all been there. But you've just got to remember that they are further down the ladder than you or along the journey than you. That's all. And
Yeah.
yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
And when I teach in the main course, one of the weeks we do is all about this idea. And so I'll try and summarize here that if you see someone who is amazing and you love their artwork, use it as inspiration, use it as proof that it's possible for you. Because if one person can do it, anyone can do it. And use it as proof, use it as something to piggyback off of because all artists have been inspired by other people. So take something from that person, say, what is it I love about what they're doing? Let me try and bring some of that into my own work. That's not copying. That's just what artists have done since the beginning of time and always will do. We all learn from each other and we all take little bits and we piece them together. So you take a bit from here, bit from here, bit from here, and then you bring it into your work. So try and flip it round and say how inspiring that people have achieved that. There's an artist I know who does very well selling a lot of paintings, and she's been told in Instagram comments quite a few times, can you stop making the rest of us feel bad? When you celebrate your sales, it makes us feel bad. And she luckily doesn't listen to that. But like, how ridiculous is that? To me,
Yeah.
that I find that very inspiring to see what she's doing, that she's built this business for herself and that she's put herself out there in that way and that it's possible for anyone to do.
Yeah.
So I hope that helps. Scrolling down, I'm not going to do the little, I'm sorry, but the little like technical questions about things. I think we're going to focus on more things that are helpful to everybody. Kathy says, how about this one, Sarah? I'm going round in the order I can see you now. Kathy wants to know any hints on what to do when I don't like my painting, but I have no idea what to do next. Is it best just to cover it all and begin from the start, or is there some trick? What do you think, Sarah? What do you do when you have no idea what to do?
Well, the first thing when I reach that point and I'm painting, I take a break from it. I step back and I sleep on it. So that's the first thing I do is I step back, I do nothing, I sleep on it. I come back the next day with a pair of fresh eyes. Um, and what I'll do is I will look at the painting. I will, sorry, Louise, I'm watching you with your spray
Sorry, I
bottle.
know I'm so being bothered by this thing. Sorry.
That's okay. I'll take a good look at the painting. I'll look at the parts that I like. What do I like about it? And I'll look at that in detail. And so I'll think, well, do I want to do more of that? Or not? So I'll take a look. I have a number of things that I'll be running through my head that are also kind of conceptual, Louise, because I like value contrast, a greater degree of value contrast in my paintings. I'll take a photograph, I'll change it to black and white so that I can see how I'm doing with the value contrast. And if I don't have enough value contrast, that's usually a tip for me. One of the reasons I don't like what's going on. So I'll come back in and I'll darken my darks and I'll lighten some of my lights, particularly the darks that are next to the lights. And then I'll step back and see how I feel about the painting then. Those are some of my tips. And sometimes what I've done is I then will just come in and paint over the painting. I will, if nothing seems to be working, I may move on and treat that painting as an underpainting. And go on. In fact, I've got one in my studio right now. It's the fourth thing on top of one particular painting, and now I'm pretty pleased with it. I think, okay, that's done. So I would say use your camera. Think about yourself and whether you like more value contrast or less value contrast. Look at that in your photos. Maybe make some adjustments there. I mean, there's so many conceptual things. I mean, I'll also be looking at, do I have maybe too many shapes of the same size in my painting? Is my eye bouncing back and forth? So I'll do some analytical work as well, Louise, and we haven't really talked about that in this class, but that's what I'll do. I'll pull in the things that I know conceptually and take a look and maybe make some changes and see if I like the painting better.
I think I agree with all of that. And also, what I do is to go back to what was my intention. What am I aiming for? So, for example, at the moment, I'm aiming for a lot of gestural and energy. And so I'll look and sometimes I'll see, oh, I was aiming for a lot of gestural marks and a lot of energy, but what I've got is a lot of blended paint. And so that's why I don't like it, because it's not what I wanted, or I'm aiming for bright, joyful colors, but I've got a lot of dark, or whatever it is. And it can be hard when you're starting out if you don't have anything you're aiming for or know what you're looking for. And this is, you know, when I get on to being able to teach in more depth, this is where I guide people to, is ultimately you don't need to know what your painting's going to look like at all, because you can't know that. But you need to have something in mind, something that it might be just a list of words, it might be just a concept, it might be one word, but something that you can go back to as a touchstone to say, I'm on track or I'm off track, and then come back and look at that. So I hope that helps. The next one, Neves Plaza. So I'm not sure which is first name, but when do you know when to stop? So I'll give this one to you, Irene. I'm afraid to overwork, and that causes a lot of unfinished works.
When do you know when to stop? That's always a good one. Did she say, I'm afraid at some point there, Louise? Would you
Yeah, I'm afraid to overwork.
Okay, that any level of fear, afraid to overwork or afraid to get it wrong or afraid to mess it up. I'm a big advocate for one of Louise's tips, which is to just do something quite drastic or dramatic that will, in your view at that point, spoil it. I think it's harder not to go far enough than to go too far. And I would push that idea that when you get to where you don't know, behind that, you're frightened of spoiling it, basically. And you're saying, well, I don't want to overwork it. There's no such thing, really, because you can just keep going. And when you find yourself, another little thought, when you find yourself making smaller and smaller changes each time you come to it, that's a really good clue that you're near the end of it. And when you can't think what to do at that point, just put it away for about a day or so and then come back to it. You might want to do nothing else, or you might go, oh yeah, I know what it needs now. It just needs that stroke of yellow there, and that's it, it's done. So I think it's fear of messing it up that will stop you from going quite far enough.
Yeah. Yes. And that you have to, as you say, just override that fear.
Yeah.
It's you might mess it up.
Yeah.
You might often mess it up. But if it wasn't right as it was, what have you actually messed up?
Exactly.
What have you actually lost? I get into this trap quite a bit, and I have to have a talk with myself. I have something that's okay, but I know it's not to my standard to sell to anyone or to show to anyone. So now what have I actually lost if I do take a risk? And usually when you take a risk, you gain.
Yeah.
So in Find Your Joy, we have a whole week about risk, because when you take a risk, usually you bring your painting to life again, even if it's a bit ugly what you do. And I know you all know what I mean. You suddenly you do something and you're like, oh, it's alive again, and now I can move forward, whatever that risk is for you. So I've started to do something now where I stop before I think it's done, and then I come back and look at it, because I'm looking for something that's a bit unfinished and a bit unresolved. So if I stop when I think it's unresolved, sometimes it's actually finished. So it's different for everyone, but great answer, Irene. Thank you. Toki says, oh, here's a good one, Anne. During the last week, my art practice has drastically changed. What I experienced since a few days, so for a few days, is that people keep telling me that my old way of doing things was so beautiful. So this is making me sad. So what do you think we should say to Toki?
I think she should ignore what other people say and rely on her own instincts, because only you know what you're trying to express and in which way you're expressing that. So she doesn't say if she's abstract or representational.
No.
And the thing is, does she want to make pretty paintings? Is that's what she's trying to express? then I'm still saying it's not okay to listen to other people. She has to listen to herself. If she's happy making pretty paintings, what could she do to liven them up a bit? But if she's
Yeah.
not happy doing, I'm going to say commercial stuff, but chocolate box stuff, then she should just ignore them, not show them to people for a while, and concentrate on finding what she loves doing. So notice what she loves on the exercises we've been doing and do more of that. And
Yeah.
when 4 weeks have gone by and she's happy, well, if she's happy with what she's doing, then show people. But people probably just out of kindness. I mean, if someone shows you a new type of painting, you sort of say, that's nice, that's interesting. They don't know how to respond to you, so you can't give any value to their opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the other thing to remember is what's happened to you in this 10 days is just the beginning of whatever's going to happen next. So, like Anne says, you might just blend these ideas in with what you were doing before and bring a bit more life to what you were doing, or you might completely want to go in a new direction, but you don't know yet. And this is the thing about art making, it's so ever changing if we follow what we love. And also, it's always ambiguous. We never know what's going to happen next. That's the exciting part. If you want, but there's nothing to stop you going back and doing what you're doing before, if that's what you want to do. But don't do it for other people. I agree with Anne, because you'll just be unhappy and you'll get bored and then you'll stop making art. So keep moving your art forward. I see a couple of questions that are about the paid course. So I promise I'll answer those, but I'll answer those when we're done with the teaching part. I can answer this quickly. Yoshiko, when you paint, do you work with limited palettes, 3 color plus black and white, or is that only for practice? Mostly Yoshiko, I do that as the basis for my paintings, but then I will add something. I will add some surprise colors in because of what I'm aiming for. So I'm aiming for a feeling of generally everything being the same, but then a shock of surprise. So because I'm aiming for that, I need something that's not in my harmonious palette. But I do like to stick to a relatively limited palette in general. For now, I might change my mind about that, but that's what I do for now. But it's great. I love to teach it as part of my courses because it's great for learning about color. It forces you to mix your colors together and get as much as you can out of them instead of just resorting to tubes. And that's always good. I see all the lovely comments, and thank you so much to everyone for these kind comments. I come back and read them all afterwards. Like we can see the YouTube comments after the live comments. So I'll definitely read everyone's comments. Michelle, so this is your turn, Heather. Michelle, is it really okay to just paint what I want when I want to make money from my art and finally give up the day job? I know I need to trust myself, but that holds me back sometimes. I so sympathize with this question actually, because I still have this feeling of like, yeah, but will people like what I want to do? What do you think? Oh, we can't hear you, Heather.
There we
There
are.
we go. Yeah.
Um, well, it's interesting because we like to sell our work, and so there's always that kind of pull to make it saleable. But I'm enjoying the fact that I'm moving more and more into doing my own thing, whether it sells or not. That's more personally satisfying to me to work that way. I know a young artist in this area, and she does beautiful trees and woodland looks and stuff. And she sells everything. It's beautifully done, and everybody likes it. I'm in a rural area, so people are more into that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, they all look like the same, variations on a theme. And if she's young and if she's happy with that for a while, but I would imagine that she'll get to a point where she thinks, I'm not expanding, I'm not growing, I'm not really being as authentic as I could be. I don't know, but I would.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
would. I painted, uh, did, representations of photographs for 25 years, and they were good. I'm good at copying. But eventually it got to the point where I thought, there's nothing of my soul in this. There's nothing of my heart in it. And I needed to go that way. And it's taking me years to do it. But I'm starting to really get into my own feel of things. And it feels better than trying to make it match what somebody else wants.
And I think you bring up such a great point, actually, Heather, that it's about, Michelle, what you decide you want for your life. If you can decide to be a commercial artist, and mention this as well, where you're going to produce a certain kind of art that you know sells, it's very hard to do. It's very hard to do that and make a living, because your heart has to be in it. So I don't know if you know the Mills and Boon romance novels. They're like these really cheesy romance love story novels. And I had a friend who was a really good writer and wanted to make money from her writing. So she decided to write some Mills and Boon novels. And she never got any accepted. And eventually one of the editors there told her, I'm not accepting your stories because you don't believe in them. Like, you've got to love these kind of stories to write them. The people who read these stories are not stupid. They know if you're being cynical and just producing this to make money. The writers who write these books really live in this world and they love writing these books. So it is hard to just make a hard-headed decision. I'm going to be commercial and I'm going to make a living. But it's possible with certain styles of art and certain subjects that you could do that, especially if you're good at marketing. So that's a decision if you decide I want to make money from my art. But I also know many, many artists who make a good living from their art by doing the thing they absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're really unique. I want to recommend everyone goes to look at Faye Bridgewater. And Faye, you spell her name, it's Bridgewater, but there's no E on Bridge. But she's got an E on the end of Faye, and she's on Instagram. She's got a website. Faye's paintings are these really bright, saturated, extremely strong colors. She does florals and she does abstracted landscapes. They're very distinctive. She now makes her living purely from paintings with no teaching or anything else. She's done really well. She makes a good living from her art. It's very unique and distinctive. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's her thing and people know her for it. And the people who love that kind of thing know to go to Faye to get that kind of thing because she's the only one making that art. That to me is the best business plan. There is always someone for whatever idiosyncratic thing you do, but it's hard work. Faye's worked really hard over a number of years, every day in her studio, making this her life. So to do either is hard. And I would rather do the hard thing, being the thing I absolutely love. Faye has enormous joy all the time because she loves what she does. So I would rather be that, like Heather said, than be the person who's just churning things out. So you've got to decide, but it's up to you. And there's both ways of, I'm just writing questions. Both ways are totally valid, but the way I teach is obviously the way. I just think it's the best business plan to do exactly what you love, to make something so unique that the only person people can come to get that from is you in the whole world. And then you don't need that many people out of 7.5 billion people. You don't need that many if you want to make a living from this. Everybody's saying 58,000 people is incredible. It is incredible. Probably about 38,000 that were actively involved in opening our emails, watching videos, doing things. So it's still amazing. And it's just been absolutely brilliant this year. Okay, Alicia, let's have a look at this one. I won't ask you that one because that one you won't know because this is your first year coaching. No, that question stopped halfway through. Someone asked a question, but they pressed send before they got the question out. That one we've answered. Okay. I see. It's just a typo. Okay, Alicia, I've got it. Danielle, how do you stop having so much fun and try to make something worth going on the wall? Right. So there's a classic question.
Uh, for me, the only things I've ever done that I wanted to put on the wall were fun and also were not intended to be put on the wall. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I I really do believe if you are having fun, that pours out into your painting. If you're feeling energetic, that'll pour out. If you're feeling angry, you'll get an angry painting. I think for me, I can't help but seep into my emotions to seep into the piece. And if you're having fun, keep having fun is probably what I'd say.
Yeah, I agree completely. I have the one trap I fall into more than any other with my paintings, and I never realize I've done it till I'm in it, is I'm trying to make it into a painting. So I've started something, it's got lots of energy in life, I'm really enjoying it, and then I've switched into trying to finish it. And as
Mm.
soon as I switch into trying to finish it, it goes off track. And maybe everyone's not that way, but I think a lot of us are, because it's too much trying to get a result again. And I need to come back then. And now I recognize it. So I have some techniques, like I'll take a piece of paper, cover it in one color of paint and smack it onto the panel and just rub it all the way over. So now it's not anywhere near finished and I've got to deal with it again. It it is, but Alicia is spot on. There is no difference. We're not teaching you have some fun, now go back and be serious. We're teaching you never get serious again in that way, because that's what's been holding you back. You've all seen how much art you've made in this period. Even when it's been a lot and you haven't been able to keep up with everything, you still made more than you've been making probably in a lot of cases. And you've made things you like because you were letting go of all that trying to control. I said that in the video today. I think it was today's video, but you are not you are not so wonderful, no offense everyone, that when you apply yourself and your brain to a painting, you can make it good, because the infinite possibilities of creativity in the universe are so much more than is contained in here. And when you put this and try and impose it on top too soon, you kill your painting. Now, of course, at some point you have to bring this in, because we can't just make paintings by flinging paint at a canvas until it's finished, especially when you're working realistically, but really in any either. You can't just do that. You have to bring this in. And that's part of your development as an artist, is you learn when to bring this in and then when to make it step back. And for me, I can only think when I'm not painting. So if I have a paintbrush in my hand, I can't be using my brain. I can stop and step back and have a think about what to do next, but then I have to go back to not thinking. Christine, I think I'm not as arty as others. Does that matter? Christine. Hope we've taught you better than that at this. How dare you say that about yourself? Even the word arty, that feels so, it feels so dismissive. Arty. I know what you mean. You feel you're not as creative, you're not as artistic. You are every bit as creative and artistic as everybody else, every human being is. You maybe just have some more blocks and filters between you and your creativity than some other people do. And that's fine. We're all here. Everyone here took my course because they had some blocks and filters in the way of them doing what they wanted to do. And I did. And that's why I came up with the idea of this course when I figured out getting past mine. So, but you have a unique personality. You have a unique story. Therefore, you have unique art to make. It's just whether you can move past those barriers and then make it. So yes, I hope we can talk you out of that idea. Estasky, does it get better or is it forever? I still fight voices. Do your best and make something good. Telling voices to shut up out loud helps. Does my self-belief grow? Yes, Esther. And I still do try to do my best. I don't mean to say that by playing, you're not trying to do your best. What you have to understand is the playing, the freedom is how you do your best. So you're not actually helping yourself when you knuckle down and try. This isn't like being an accountant. Being an artist isn't the same. So you have to be free. But yes, your self-belief grows over time as you trust yourself. It's just a path that you go on, isn't it? Do you want to speak to that a little bit, Irene, while I just look for some more comments? Because that's kind of the thing you're good at.
Heard it. Was it about playing and being free?
Does it get better? Is it forever? I still fight voices saying, do your best and make something good.
Yeah. I think you need to learn to be consistent in your dealing with those voices. And a good thing to remember, I think, this is how I see it, is that the voices in our heads are very often planted from way back in our past. People that always told us to do right, do good, do your best. The thing we can do is decide that those voices are actually now trying to help us. They're trying to help us not to fall on our faces in the world. So they're saying, be careful, take care, don't do that. It might get laughed at and all those kind of weird things. It's feeling, those voices are feeling fear on your behalf that you don't actually need. And I always think it's nice to deal with the voices softly and kindly rather than people talk about, kicking them into touch and shutting them up and hitting them on the head. I just think it's much nicer to be gentle and kind to those voices and say, look, I know you're only trying to be helpful. You've helped me all my life, but I actually don't need this. I don't need this. I'm okay. I'm not in any danger whatsoever. I can make bad paintings and it won't affect me at all. So please, you can sit over there nice and quiet. You can watch what I'm doing, but you're not allowed to tell me that I've got to try harder. And you can repeat that as long as you're being kind. And this voice knows it's been listened to and understood for its purpose. And simply saying, it's fine, you don't have to tell me this stuff anymore. So that's
Yeah, I like that, being kind to the voices. I'm going to take the last question was something that was asked by a few people, so I'll just address it. Gina says, I'm hopeless at drawing. Do you think anyone can learn? And I had similar questions. And as an artist, do you think I should be able to? So I never would say you should be able to do anything. I find being able to draw very helpful in that I don't draw realistically very much anymore, but I do try and keep my hand in because I think drawing is about looking and being present and I think that's useful to us as artists. Whatever kind of art we make, I think the ability to really see the world around us is helpful. But I would never say you have to learn to draw. What I would say is most people struggle at drawing until they learn how to do it. For some people, it comes more naturally than others, but it is just a skill like any other skill. And drawing is more about looking than it is about actually what your hand's doing. Usually when you're bad at drawing, you're actually just bad at looking. So say you're trying to draw a face, your brain shortcuts you and goes, well, I know an eye is a kind of an almond shape and I roughly know what a nose looks like, so I'll just fill that in. And you're not looking at the person's eye shape or the person's nose. And so it's about practicing. If you're interested in learning to draw, there's two things I would recommend. The Betty Edwards book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, is very good. And also there's a YouTube channel with Danny Gregory, and he teaches visual journaling, just keeping a sketchbook about everyday life. And he's really engaging. He's got loads of stuff on YouTube, lots of drawing lessons and lots of free help. So I recommend that. And with that, we are going to wrap up this free part of the course. I do want to announce the winner, so I remembered. So the winner tonight is Liz Beck. So Liz, you'll be getting an email. Jamie, I don't have to message you because you're here, so you can write that down. So Jamie will message you and let you in to Find Your Joy. And as I said, I'll do another random pick later and let those people know as well. But congratulations, Liz. Well done and welcome into Find Your Joy, which is now open as we speak. And so coaches, thank you everyone for an amazing best ever. I want to say on behalf of the whole team, because we've been talking about it, that we all think you were our best group ever. And this isn't like the rock band that goes to every town and says, you're the best audience we've ever had. This is genuinely the best group in terms of the work ethic and the enthusiasm and the amount of things you've got done. And we've loved every minute of it. So I will, just jotting down a few questions that I see about Find Your Joy. Does FYJ. So anyway, coaches, thank you so much. I'm going to let you go have a few days off before we get started on the full course. So off you go. Well, actually, you don't get days off, do you? You got to answer all the emails. They're all looking at me like, what? Are we having a day off?
Into my shift.
Okay, well, see you soon, everybody. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye. Okay, people, I'm staying on here. So I'm going to just put this on speaker and so you can see me. I don't know why I can't see me on here, but I hope you all see me full screen. Let me know if you see me full screen. I see all the comments going down now with thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And what I need to do now is, it's lovely to see all these comments. We are so pleased to see them all. So let me switch course a little bit and tell you now about Find Your Joy. You have all received, or you will receive, an email to invite you to come and join. When we send a lot of emails, they come out gradually, so yours might take a little bit longer. If you don't get your email, you can go to my website or the Facebook group, and there will be links there. My website is Louise Fletcher Art, but you can just look me up in Google. Find Your Joy. I'm going to briefly talk about it, and then you can ask me anything you want if you're sticking around. And if you're not sticking around, thank you. We've had a blast. So Find Your Joy is 12 weeks of education over 13 weeks. Someone asked me, is it the same pace as the free course? Because I couldn't keep up. No, it's much more in depth and at a much more healthy pace because I don't have to cram everything into 10 days. But there's a lot in Find Your Joy. So it's 12 weeks learning, 13 weeks. We have a week in the middle where we take a break. The course is longer this year than ever before. It's been redesigned. It's also cheaper than it's been for the last 3 years. So if you are thinking about joining us, this will be the year to join. I feel like it's just a tough year economically around the world, and I wanted to make it as affordable as I can. So that's why it's less money this year. When I run it again, which won't be next year, it'll be the year after, it will go up to the full price again. So what is Find Your Joy? What you've done in the reset is kind of a foundation to Find Your Joy. And if you join the full course, you get access to the reset for the whole year of Find Your Joy, because when you join Find Your Joy, yes, it's 13 weeks live, but you get access for a whole year. And the free course will go into the course and be there for you as well. So when we get into the full course, we get into the first 4 modules of the course, build on what we've done in the reset. We get into more about mindset. We get into inspiration, how you look at other artists, draw from them to bring into your own work. We look at the idea of expression rather than impression, which is how do I make paintings to express me rather than to impress other people. So it kind of builds on what we've been doing in the reset. Lots of fun painting assignments all the way through. After the first 4 modules, when we know we've got you fully into the whole thing and you're fully free and you've built your confidence with experimenting, then we start introducing some core principles of art making that you can use. And Sarah talked a little bit about this when she was talking about tonal contrast, lights and darks, about colors, about shapes, about marks, and bringing all that together under the umbrella of composition and how you put a painting together, whether it's abstract or realistic or somewhere in between. So we are really, but we keep it all fun. So we're not going to do any boring color theory. We're not going to do anything difficult on composition. We're going to keep it fun and targeted towards you, your choices, your preferences, all about you. We will finally, after we've done that, we look at the idea towards the end of the course of risk and adventure, and how bringing some risk into our paintings, knowing what we know about color and composition and all of that, how can we shake it up a little bit? Because all artists who do well, whether in shows, win prizes, sell paintings, get in museums, take risks in their work. And we look at that idea and we spend the final week building a foundation for you to go off and work on your own without needing the structure of a course. We start on September 15th. So we're only open for people to join the course for 6 days because we need a few days to get ready and welcome you all in and have a little bit of a break. We start on Monday, September 15th, but we have a welcome call the evening before. The way it is structured is that, unlike the free course, there is a course website with a password that you log into, and all of your content is in one place that you can access at any time. And everything we do on the course goes into this website, and you can go in and refer back to things. That stays open for a whole year for you. You get lessons and assignments on a Monday, right at the start of the week. We have 2 live calls midweek, one in the morning UK time, which works for Australian and New Zealand students, and one at the 6 p.m. slot, which works for North America and Europe. So we do 2 live calls midweek to answer questions. You can submit questions in advance, unlike on the free course. So every single question gets answered on Find Your Joy. We do not miss anyone. And then, so that's midweek. And then on Friday, there'll be some bonus videos and demos that come out at the end of the week that are like reinforcing the learning we've done that week. You then get the weekend to make sure you've seen everything and done your homework before we start again the following Monday. So it's a much more manageable pace than the reset. As well as the weekly painting exercises, you will also get work in a studio journal or a sketchbook, which is it's going to become your guidebook to yourself. It's going to be your map to yourself. And I will give you weekly prompts for that work. And you will have one assignment that goes throughout the whole course that you do every week. You just do a little bit more on. All of the exercises have an abstract or a representational option, and we will have demos of both. When you sign up, and I know some of you already have, welcome, you get access immediately to the welcome section where you will find a welcome video, some rules, simple rules, nothing you don't already know, a schedule, the materials list, and some things to do before we get started, just a few little tasks. So the sooner you get signed up, the better, because you'll need to do a little bit of work and get your materials together. Materials are nothing much different than what we've already used. So it's the same. We're going to work on paper most of the time, unless you want to work on something different. Use whatever mediums you want to, use whatever tools you want to. We also, when you join, you get access to an Acrylics for Beginners course for anyone who needs it, and also 2 extensive series of videos from my studio where you will be able to see me making. One is a series of portraits and one is a series of abstract paintings. And you're basically in my studio following the whole process. Those are just bonus elements that are there waiting for you. As I said, this year the price is 20% less than last year and the year before. It's back to 2022 pricing, and it's only this year in recognition of the economic issues around the world and the economic uncertainty that many of us are living under. That is, I worked it out last night, that is £76 a week, for which you get a massively rich learning experience and 24-hour coaching, except on Sundays. Coaches are always available to help you. Unlike the free course, every single question gets answered. We have different ways you can ask questions. And so it's incredible value. The only course that even comes close to this one in terms of quality costs more than twice as much as this one. I just believe in keeping things affordable. So I think that's it. As I said, you've been our best group ever. I sincerely wish every single one of you would come along and join us, because we have an absolute blast, and I know we'd enjoy working with you. Although if you all came, we'd never sleep. But seriously, you really have been fabulous. And if you can come and join us, we would absolutely love to work with you on this next stage of your journey. And if you can't join us, I really hope we've given you a head start on your own creative journey. And I don't want you to stop painting now. We've done everything we can. So I'm open for questions. I'm going to look back and see. I'm going to click back on YouTube. I just was checking my notes. And of course, I might come back and find you've all gone. But good. No, you haven't all gone. There's some questions that came in while we were talking about other things. Can you benefit from the course if you don't use Facebook? Absolutely, just the same as on the free course. A little bit easier because we have the website, we call it the hub, the course hub, that you can go to see everything. Facebook is there for the community, and whether you want to be part of that or not, it's up to you. The group will be much smaller than the Creative Reset group. It always is. I do these free courses knowing that most people won't continue on. So you won't have anywhere near the same number of people. It becomes a really warm community where you can get to know people. That's Facebook, but you don't have to be in there if you don't want to. Someone said, does it look at selling? No. Because the best business plan I can give you is don't even think about selling until you are making something unique and personal to you. And when you're making something unique and personal to you and exceptional, then you won't have a problem selling. Then there are courses and tutors and YouTube videos and all sorts of things that can help you with that piece. What most people do, and I did this at the beginning of my painting journey, is we think, I want to sell my paintings. I must have to learn about business before we've learned to make them unique. When I was thinking that, my artwork was very samey as lots of other people's. It wasn't ready for prime time yet. I don't know if the person who asked this question is has got artwork that's ready for prime time, but mine wasn't. And I was putting the cart in front of the horse. I really needed to work on my artwork first. So my specialty is in helping you to improve your artwork. Rachel says, is the course suitable for watercolor? Absolutely. And Heather, Coach Heather that you saw tonight, she works in watercolor. So if you are ever a little bit stumped on what to do on an assignment, or you don't think it works, you just have to ask us a question through the avenues we're going to tell you. And Heather would be happy to personally help you with some tips as to how to make it work. Michelle says, will there be demos in watercolor? Some of them will be in watercolor when Heather does a demo. I really don't want you to be fixated on the demos, though, because I had somebody say to me, oh, I'm not doing your course because it's an abstract acrylic course, because they saw one of my demos. My demos are not there to show anybody how to do anything. It's just a bit of interest. Like, here's how I interpreted the prompt. It's no more valuable than how you interpret it. We are all in this together as artists. And I don't want you to be looking at demos for how to do things. However, there will be watercolor demos, because when Heather films a demo, it will be in watercolor. And as I say, she's happy to help. I want you to find out how to use watercolors in the totally unique way that you're meant to use them, because there are many, many styles of art done in watercolor. It isn't like there's a rule book you have to follow. Carrier, I'm a self-taught intuitive artist. Sorry, I can't. I find myself unsupported when I try to share my joy of art with others. I'd love a supportive tribe to hold me as I try sharing. And I think you're asking, does joy fit? Well, absolutely, because you have many intuitive artists in this group. Yeah, I don't try and share my joy of intuitive art with very many people, because most people in my real life are not interested. But the groups I lead are. Oh, sorry, Vanessa. The course price is in the email I sent out, but I meant to say it. The course is $9.95. I think I did say it, actually. It's $9.95. And maybe you heard me say that. I work full time, Amy says. I'm afraid I will be distracted from my job. How many hours do people put into the course? I'm definitely the type who would want to work on my art all the time. I was like you when I took a similar course to my course, one that takes a similar amount of time back in 2017 or 2018. And I worked on the assignments and stuff in the evenings and on the weekend. I reckon you need to get the most out of this, 6 to 7 hours a week is the minimum. Some people put a lot more than that in, because of course you can do the assignment multiple ways. You can do it in depth. So that is up to you in terms of how much you put in. But if you wanted to watch everything, do the assignments, watch at least one of the live chats, either live or on recording. I reckon that's how much time it would take. And I really, when I did that course, that changed my life, and it actually turned my full-time job into something I didn't want to do anymore. So that might happen to you, but now I'm doing this and I'm much happier. And my course is better than the one that changed my life, just saying. Is there a possibility to connect with the coaches in the hub after the demos and the assignments? Absolutely, Frida. So we are all in there. We all work on a shift basis. So, because you can imagine everybody's got lives, they don't do this full time. They have other jobs and other lives. So everybody works on a rota basis, and we're all in there answering questions. And if you have an answer for a question for a specific coach, you just address it to them, and we will save it for them when they come back on. There is a 12, sorry, Yvonne, there isn't a 12-month option for payment. I'm sorry. We can't do that because I did try that once, but too many people didn't continue paying after the course was over. It's just one of the, I do extend it longer than the course and take that risk, but I'm looking. You don't have to tell me if you can't do it this year. It's fine. I'm not pushing anyone. How many people do you allow into the course, says Lulu? We've never reached a limit, Lulu, that we can't handle. We have plenty of resources to handle more than we've ever had. The most people I think we've ever had, I don't want to get this wrong, but I think it was about 2,000. That wasn't last year, that was the year before. And it was, we were easy peasy to handle that many people and help that many people. We are really good at this. Renee, is the content similar to what I might find on Art Tribe? Absolutely not, because I don't rip people off. I would never do that. And I know that's not what you're implying, but I would never do that. Art Tribe is a different thing. I mean, it's similar in the sense I'm teaching and I've got a philosophy and a way of thinking. But the difference between Art Tribe is like Netflix for art. You dip in and out, you take a little course. There's a course on drawing, there's a course on composition, there's a course on sketchbooks. You do what you feel like doing. Find Your Joy is taking you on a structured journey from A to Z. I've got a plan. I know what I want to teach you, and I know where I want to get you to at the end. So it's very different. The content's different too. Do you have to attend both Q&As? Absolutely not, Deborah. You don't have to attend anything live, and everything is recorded for you. And you can submit your questions in advance, so you can still get things answered even if you can't be there. How much time should we allow? I've done that, sorry. Sometimes I've answered and you've asked this a while ago. If you're away and you're going to miss a week, it's not a problem as long as you feel you can catch up or find time. We do have a catch-up week halfway through so that everybody can have a little bit of a breather and just do anything you missed. So you could even miss the first week and do that when we get to catch-up week. Laurie, I have taken Find Your Joy twice, Find Your Voice and Momentum. Well, thank you, Laurie. Is there anything new in the course for me? It's all new, but some of it is the same, but it's all the same idea. I'm not changing my central concept because it's true and it works. So I've re-recorded all the videos. The lessons are stronger. I've learned more. I've brought in a lot of examples of contemporary and historical artists to look at. I've redesigned the painting assignments. So everything in there is new. Some of it is brand new. Some of it is the same idea with new teaching. But what I would ask you, Laurie, is what is it you don't feel you've learned, or what is it you don't feel? What is it you want to get? Some people like to come back just for the community and the structure. That's fine. But after all that studying, do you feel like it's time to maybe work on your own art for a bit? Only you can answer that. That's up to you. I think I've answered the catch-up question. And by the way, you can email us with any questions you don't want to ask here or anything I miss at fyjteam@gmail.com. Or just hit reply on any of my emails. Is there a payment plan? Yes, there is, Heather. That is on the link. You just click the link. Anyone who's on the fence, Zarafa, anyone who's on the fence, I can heartily recommend it. Thank you. I did Find Your Joy 24 and it's helped me to change my life. Also enormous fun. Thank you. No limit to students. I think I've answered that. Francesca, I quit art college halfway through foundation over 25 years ago. Now I would like to get back into it. Would this be a good alternative? I think so. If you're in the Facebook group, though, of course I think so. Like, I designed it and I honestly think it's just brilliant. I'm so proud of my teaching, but I would say that, wouldn't I? So if you're in the Facebook group, it might be a really good idea to ask that question of people who've done an art foundation course, because I never have. I'd never went to art school. I don't have any of that. I think it's a fabulous way to get into painting. Basically, what I've done is I've taken everything I've learned from my own journey and packaged it up for you into a curriculum so that you don't have to take the 10 years it took me to figure all this stuff out. So after the course, you will still figure out your own knowledge that I don't have, but this is everything I have. Carmen, oh, Carmen, your question jumped, but I got it. You were having a crisis of confidence because you feel like maybe you're not good enough for this. Maybe you should wait a bit. Please never think that. Like if your reason for not doing this course is financial, I get it. I've been there. There's certainly been courses I couldn't do because I couldn't jump in at that time financially. Other things were happening. I get it. That's forget the whole thing. But if your reason is, I don't feel I'm good enough, I'm begging you, please don't think that about yourself. You are good enough wherever you are. And don't you want to, even if you're a complete beginner, we always have complete beginners on the course, and they give themselves such a head start to be in an environment with all these teachers dedicated to helping you and all this knowledge that I didn't have when I was beginning. And some of the group are more experienced than you. Isn't that fantastic? You get to learn from all those people. When I first started, I remember trying to make art friends who were more successful than me. Nobody wanted to be my friend in the local community. They were all art friends with each other, and my work wasn't up to their standard. I just wanted to be around people who were better than me so I could learn. This group, this course gives you the chance to do that. Any encaustic coaches? No, Cheryl, I don't believe so. Again, though, I don't think it matters. I don't understand why we get hung up on this. It doesn't matter. That what matters, what we're teaching is about mindset. It's about color, composition, mark making, tone, risk, adventure, the artist's life, the artist's path. That's the same if you work in encaustic, biro pen, pencil, watercolor, ceramics, textiles. It's the same. Deborah, I love loose, bold, realistic painting, sort of impressionistic. Will this course help me develop that? Yes, but not because we will say, here, Deborah, here's the way to develop that, because nobody can do that. I think you know that. That's probably not what you're asking. But what we're going to do is I'm going to guide you through a series of steps, including looking for artists you love and analyzing, just looking at what they're doing and figuring out what you love and why, practicing those things through a series of exercises so that you can find your way closer to what you want to do. Because the way you're going to do that kind of artwork is not going to be like anyone else's. It's going to be so exciting to find out what you do, but it won't look like anyone that you love, but they are clues and they are coaches and guides on your journey. Absolutely. And beginners, please, please do come. Beginners, it's just the best. As long as you are not going to beat yourself up if you're with other people. There'll be a lot of beginners, but there'll also be a lot of mid people returning to art after a long time away. Some professionals, sometimes we have people who are already working professionally, but they become a beginner again because they want to do something new. So as long as you are not going to start beating yourself up about where they are compared to you, which would be silly because, like I said, you wouldn't start a marathon and beat yourself up because you're not 26 miles in on the first minute. So as long as you're okay with that, it's the perfect place to be. The weekly calls are recorded. What is the email for further questions? Penny, it's fyjteam@gmail.com, or just reply to any of our emails. We are all on email duty for the next week. So I'm just looking for more questions and I'm going back because I know I missed some. I find doing these courses help me keep going, says Christine. Would I be better with Art Tribe or doing this course again? I feel I haven't got there yet. I don't know, Christine, but maybe send your question in to fyjteam@gmail.com. with a little bit more about what you haven't got and why you haven't got there, and then we can probably guide you better. Is there a link for alumni to sign up again? Jenny, you just click on the same link and you use your alumni code. So for anyone wondering what that is, students who've done this course before get to come back at a reduced rate, quite a lot reduced. So in the future, if this is your first time and you want to do it again, you'll get a real bargain price to come back. So Jenny, you need your code. If you can't find that, just email us, reply to the email and ask. Will coaches provide direct feedback on the paintings we make? That's a really good question, Emily. Yes and no. So we are there in the Facebook group as much as we can be to look at, that's where we can see your paintings. We comment the way we did in the free course. We comment on your experience, on your questions. There's not going to be much to give feedback on because you're not going to be making masterpieces. That's not what the course is about. You're going to be pushing, experimenting. But for example, if you want to put something into the Facebook group and say, I was taking the things you taught us about color mixing, and I want to know if I understood what you said about saturated color. Have I got some of that in this? Is this saturated color, for example? We can speak to that, but we're not going to say that's great, that's wonderful. That's not what this is about. This is about your journey, your exploration. We are going to answer every question you have, but the questions you'll see when you're in the course, it's just not going to come up that you're asking for feedback on the actual piece, because you're going to be able to give yourself feedback. By the end of the course, you're going to be able to talk to yourself about your work and not going to need other people's opinions. Katrina says, I did a foundation course and I think everyone should do it. I think you mean Find Your Joy, as it opens doors of creativity. This course made me feel like I was on it. I have experienced so many excited, joyful things. That's wonderful. Yes, Barbara, being in Art Tribe is different from being in the course, completely different. Art Tribe is a membership. It's a community as much as anything, with some educational resources. And those people who join Find Your Joy, we're not going to invite you into Art Tribe until you're finished with Find Your Joy, because you'll have enough to do. The people who don't sign up, once we're done getting everybody into the course, we will let you know about Art Tribe if that's an option you want to pursue, but it's very different. It's not like a less expensive option. It's a completely different thing. It's like comparing a cow and a pigeon. They're just different. They do different things. Krista, can you still ask the coaches questions after the 12-week course? No. So we are there for the live teaching. The coaches go for a well-deserved break after the live teaching. But what happens is the Facebook group continues. So the Facebook group for your year will never go away. And it just, wherever Facebook's there, it just stays there. And that becomes a really cohesive community. And by the time the course ends, you're all able to direct each other. So we just step away and leave you to it, and you're great. You're all just leading yourselves. Wondering if there will be another momentum. Yes, Susie, there will. So that is an advanced course that I teach. That will be coming next year, early next year, and that will be coming. Sorry, how many sessions per week? Only one. So Rosemary, there's lots of things in a week. There's the Monday morning email that comes with your videos. There might be anywhere between 1 and 3 lesson videos, depending on the week. Then there'll be a painting exercise, which is something that can be done once, but can be expanded on if you want to spend longer on it. Another painting exercise, which extends for the whole course, but happens every week. A journaling, studio journal exercise. That's all on a Monday, so you can plan your week and everything you have to do. 2 live sessions, 2 live chats at different times to meet as many different time zones as possible. One with me and a coach, and one with 2 coaches, and we alternate those to get as many perspectives as possible. And then at the end of the week, some extra videos and demo videos. We don't show you our demos of the painting exercises until the end of the week, because we want you to find your own way and then just see what we did as kind of entertainment. So it's a busy schedule, but it's not as manic as the free course was. Do you do a schedule? Do you do a daily schedule or weekly for this? Barbara, you get a schedule laid out with all the dates for everything in that schedule. It's already planned. Going back up, looking for questions. What is the email? Sorry, I don't. Will a tariff apply from those from the USA? Apparently, Donald Trump doesn't understand yet about internet sales, so no tariffs on anything bought over the internet. Can't promise that he won't figure that out at some point, but at the moment doesn't seem to know about it. I don't have a Wise account, Candice. We accept payment through a secure payment processor, like one of the world's biggest payment processors called Stripe. On your end, you won't even see that, but it's totally secure, and it just accepts credit cards, debit cards, etc. And we also accept PayPal. Moira, will you stop soon, Louise? Because you're looking very tired. Thank you, Moira. I don't feel very tired, actually. I am very thirsty, so I'm just going to get a drink. Oh, I don't feel tired, but I do have dry eyes. I have slight hay fever allergies, so that's probably it. And also not brilliant eyesight, so I'm squinting. Anne, I struggle with the feeling of anger when I paint and an urge to make it ugly. Do you talk about that in the course? That's interesting. I wonder if it's a struggle, Anne, or something that your art wants to be. We don't talk about that specific subject to everyone, but we're happy to talk about it with you as you progress through the course. I am going to scroll back down, getting lots of lovely comments about the course from people who've done it before. You have access for 1 year from the start of the course. I will be traveling, driving for November. Can I catch up after that? Yeah, absolutely, because you get 1 year. What I found in this and other online courses, Anne-Marie says, is there isn't enough accountability. Now, that's interesting, Anne-Marie, because I believe in you holding yourself accountable. I can't. What can I do to make you do something? I can give you the exercises. I can give you the knowledge. I can give you the inspiration. What I would say is if you're needing to be held accountable, you're not doing something you love. I do not need anyone to hold me accountable for painting. I love it. I do it any chance I can get, which isn't as often as I want. I do need to be held accountable to do my accounts for tax time. I need my accountant to nag at me because I hate it. If you are having to be held accountable to paint, you haven't found doing what is joyful, and or else you wouldn't need to be held accountable. That's my feeling anyway. But we have no way of policing what you do, and nor would I want to. I feel like we're all adults. I'm giving you everything I can give you, and then it's up to you from that point on. I would just say, let's find out what you love so that you don't need anyone to make you do it. If all I did for my art was realistic drawing, I think I would need to be held accountable to, because I don't love that. Not anymore. So someone would have to make me do it, but I just don't do it anymore because I don't love it. I'm scrolling up to see if I missed anything. I'm sure I did. Lovely, Izetta, that you signed up. I love that. Liesel, I don't consider myself a total beginner. Could that be a problem? Not at all, Liesel. This course is not for beginners. It's not for professionals. It's not for... This course is for artists. If you feel... My question is, Liesel, did you get something from the reset? If you got something from the reset, I'm going to blow your mind and Find Your Joy. So, but if you didn't, if you felt like that was not at the right level, you might want to consider. Betsy says, Find Your Joy was the single best thing I've ever done for myself. Thank you so much. You carry a good point. It's Zoom meetings rather than YouTube. Yes, we just can't do Zoom meetings for such a large group of people. The cost would be astronomical on Zoom to host that many people. I don't even know if you can go up to that many actually, but for the course, we buy an extended license to make sure that we can allow everyone in. So we wait and see how many people sign up, and then we make sure we have a license that fits everyone onto a Zoom call. And that is where we meet. It's not streamed anywhere, obviously, because it's private and it's just for you. Do you know the date of the catch-up week? Jules says. That's a good question. Let me check my calendar and I'll try and tell you. I should know that off the top of my head, but I don't. It's in October. I know that. Oh no, it doesn't say. I believe it's the week of the 27th of October. It's either the 20th or 27th of October. You might have to email us. I'm sorry, it's not on my calendar marked when that is. But if you really need to know that, just email us and we can let you know. I know I'm away actually on my own painting trip, and it's during that time when I'm away. But I'm away for 2 weeks, so I'm not sure which one of that it is. And let's go back here to my questions. Oh, lost my questions. I just joined Art Tribe. Jackie, just email us about that. What if I don't know what the questions are yet? Will they become apparent during the course, says Valerie? Yes, absolutely. So you're saying, what if you don't know what you want to ask yet? Absolutely. We are going to challenge you in many different ways. We're going to give you all sorts of cool things to try. And then questions are going to arise as you start developing your own voice. And then we are there to answer whatever comes up. Sometimes as well, some people don't ask any questions. And when they give us feedback at the end, they say, I didn't know what I wanted to ask, but other people asked great questions. And it turned out they knew what I wanted to know. So that might be you too. You don't have to ask questions. Will we need to buy sketchbooks or other things to do Find Your Joy, Josephine? So you will need plenty of paper. You'll need whatever medium you work in now, whether that's, we've had watercolor, we've had encaustic, we've had acrylics, we might have oils, but you'll need your, plenty of your regular supply of whatever you want to use. And you will need a sketchbook, one sketchbook, and we have some guidelines on the materials list for what to look at. And other than that, I don't think there's anything different from what was in the reset. You just need more of it, obviously. Is this abstract, Garfield, is this abstract and representational? Yes. Some assignments are just general and they'll work for either. And some are specific for abstract, one for abstract, one for representational. Same for the demos, we'll be doing both. Sometimes I'm doing a representational demo and sometimes one of the coaches is. When does the new Facebook group open? That is opening as we speak. It will be open now. So when you sign up, you'll receive an email with a link to join the Facebook group. Carrie's got that already. She's like on top of everything. So it's all waiting for you. It sounds so interesting. How long will I be able to access the Creative Reset resources for? Until September 13th, unless you're in Find Your Joy, and then it goes in there and you can have it for a year. Wendy, I took Find Your Joy in 2021. Best choice ever. Thank you, Louise and team, for helping open new journeys. Thank you. Do you know, I'm not, I don't usually blow my own trumpet, but it's so much better now than it was then because I've learned a lot more. And as I learn a lot more and grow in confidence, I become a better teacher and have more to share. And that's why I had to redesign a lot of it this year. I just felt like I needed to do that. Spring Azure, it totally will be possible to do the course. It's up to you if that's what you want to do, you know, because you said you can't do it live with everyone else. Just going to scroll down to the bottom and see if any new questions came in. Meeting times, Terry, we have 10 a.m. on Wednesday mornings UK time. So that's nighttime for Australia, New Zealand. That's no use for America and Canada that time because they're in bed. And then 6 p.m. on Thursdays. So this time that we started at today on Thursdays, because that works for USA, Canada, and Europe. So we have two options. And then you can always watch the one you missed if you want to, but you don't need to. Will there be a book list? No book list, but we do talk about books sometimes in the course. Any tips on how to decide whether to pursue realism or abstract? You do the course and you figure it out as you go. Try both assignments. I just think you have to do the work and you have to figure out which one is calling to you, but there's no way to know until you start painting in both. To connect with the community and get feedback, can we only do that via Facebook? No, Sonia. So in the course, unlike this course, we have this private website hub where you can go to and you can type in comments, questions, chats. You can talk to other people. I'll be honest, most people, the community still is in Facebook. Most people use Facebook. That's why I've not moved away from it. But we are in the hub and we are answering you. So you are not disconnected from everyone else. There's a place for you to chat and talk. Also, I should have said, you can sign up. And if you decide in the first 2 weeks it's not for you, you can quit. As long as you let me know before lesson 3 goes out, you can have a full refund. I should have said that at the beginning because we want you to be able to, we want you to like it. We don't want to hook you in with something that isn't for you. We want you to like it. Scrolling back up. Who's in? Jenny's in. Yay. Go, Jenny. Time to go do your pre-work. Thank you, everyone, for still being here. I know some people have to go. Can you switch between mediums in the course? Absolutely. You can do whatever you want. Jane, can I work on a smaller scale when away? Sketchbook, drawing, watercolors? Absolutely. We often have people do that. Last year, we had a couple of people who were traveling in motorhomes, like they live in a motorhome and they did the course. You might just have to adapt if I say use a big sheet of paper. But anytime you want us to help you with how to adapt an assignment, unlike in this course where it's so busy, you can contact us and ask us. I am going to try Kerry. Oh, Kerry's answering someone else in French. I was going to say I was going to try and read that, and I think I can read it, but that's answering someone else. Lindsay fell asleep. You fell asleep while I was talking, Lindsay. How could you do that? Michelle, that's lovely to read. Is this the last one, says Spencer Hope? Is this the last one you mean Find Your Joy? I don't think so. I am not doing it next year because I promised my team that we'd have a break. We have worked consistently. We had an advanced course after Find Your Joy last year that people worked on. Then we had about a month off before we were planning for this again. And we'll do that advanced course again. And I just said to them, I promise we'll have a break. So we're not going to next September be doing Find Your Joy. Then we're going to look at 2027. I am very aware that I'm not young anymore and that at some point I would like to focus on my painting. So I never promise from year to year that I'll be back doing this again. because I don't know 100%. But I would think I would be back in 2027, but life changes, doesn't it? And you never know what's going to happen. So I would like some more time for my own painting. Laurie says, the reason I am thinking of taking it again, every time I've taken a course from you, I've learned something new. Also, it's cheaper than therapy. Glad to help. Debbie, question. I always create my best work in my armchair. I want to get comfortable to work in my studio, which is a dream space. I want to just learn to let myself free. Sounds like, Debbie, that you are making that space mean too much. I am right now in a huge space that I had built. My dream. I have waited and saved up for years to be able to do this. And the first time I came in here, I was like, oh, I don't think I deserve this. This is too nice. What if I mess it up? What if I can't make anything good in here? And then I just had to have a big talk with myself. And I know it's easy to say, but I just had to have a talk with myself. I'm not doing all this, waiting all this time, saving all this money up, organizing this renovation, worrying about the budget to then not use it and make the most of it. And so I just think you have to take the weight off it. You're making it mean. What are you making it mean? And then when you work out what you're making it mean, you can maybe work out why you can't get in there. I am going to have to end this relatively soon because my computer doesn't have that much charge left. Gary says, looking over the 12 weeks course with my experience and mindset, my benefits would be in the middle 6, 8, and 9. And you just got to decide, do you think it'll be worth it, Gary, or not? I mean, I think there's a lot more in those other weeks than maybe you think there is, but I understand and I don't want to oversell something. And yay, good to have you back. Judith says, Find Your Joy was the best art course I've ever done. I didn't used to say that, but now I do because I know it is. I don't know of a better one. I've taken a lot of courses. Often I take them just for market research, and I'm sometimes horrified by how bad the teaching is and the structure and the curriculum and not to put anyone down, I'm not naming anyone, but some of them are terrible. A good point, Myra. I want to mention this. There is no tariff on the US sales, but if you're in the US or anywhere else in the world, your credit card company or your bank might charge an international transaction fee. It's nowhere near like a tariff amount, but there might be an extra fee on your transaction. You would have to ask your credit card or your bank about whether they do that. And also, every year someone is confused by conversion rates. £9.95 is not $9.95 Australian, American, Canadian, whatever. There's a conversion rate, and we include a link to that so you can check what it is in your currency. Anyone with questions about Art Tribe, please just email Art Tribe about that. That would be really helpful. How long to join, Rosemary says. God, I should know that too. It's on the email. You have 6 days, so I don't know the exact date. I think it closes on the 11th, but check the email to be sure. Beth, you're in. Wonderful. Anna Mary. Somebody's asking, how is this different from Wilton's CVP? Okay, I haven't taken CVP since 2018, so it would be unfair of me to comment on what it is now. I think they're very different courses. In some ways, though, we're the same. I love Nick. I'm actually going on a painting retreat with him in October. We're friends. I like him very much, and I love his courses. So, they're different in the sense Nick has a different focus, I think, than me. Maybe it's an American UK thing, but I think it's more a male female thing. That he's very. I remember that his course kind of inspired me to start Find Your Joy because at one point he said, and this is a while ago, he said to everyone, for the first few weeks, we're just going to play with paint. And I had a blast playing with paint. But then I looked around the course and I realized at least a third of the students had frozen. They didn't know what that meant. They didn't know what to do. And Nick, he's from a background, well, this is it. He's from a background that's very creative. He went to art school. His parents were artists, or one of them was. They encouraged him as a child to be creative. He never had any blocks creatively, so he didn't really focus in his course on helping people through those blocks. And I realized, oh, I know how to do that. In terms of the way I teach, Nick didn't used to, although maybe he does now, set designed assignments designed to lead you to a specific skill. He used to say, work on a series, and you worked a bit on it each week and you got a new lesson each week. I think he's changed that now, so I can't really comment. So I think our teaching approaches are quite different. We do cover some of the same things. You can't teach an art course without talking about color, without talking about composition, without talking about lights and darks. So in that sense, we'll, I'm sure, cover some of the same things. But I know Nick feels our courses are quite different, and I do too. But you'd really, the best person to ask is to ask other students who've done both and see what they think. Christine, love the painting behind your head. Oh, thank you. That's just today's. I just got them all out because I was trying to work out which ones are not working and which ones are. And then I thought, oh, that makes a good background. I'll sit here. Dee, thank you so much for saying that lovely comment about my teaching. I really appreciate it. What happens if I get ill and I can't finish the course? Sandy, that's a really good question. We have had that happen once in a while, and normally we're back the following year. And I would say just get in touch with us, and we have, granted a place to someone who, for example, got cancer. We had someone one year who got cancer and had to back out like 4 weeks in, and then we just let them in the following year. So we are humans. The only problem is that there won't be one in 2026, so it would be another year, but that's what we would do probably. We can't make it last longer just for you because of the way the technology works on the back end. It goes away, but we can work something out. We're definitely not inhuman. So there will be Find Your Voice after Find Your Joy this year. Wendy says no. Sorry, everyone's going to get really confused. I used to teach a course called Find Your Voice. I don't do that anymore, so that's not going to be there. Lena says, will there be Creative Reset next year? No, so that will precede Find Your Joy whenever that comes back. So that'll probably be 2027 after my team have had a break. Samantha, I've taken a lot of art classes, watercolor and acrylic abstract. Will this help me find my own style? Did you feel, Samantha, like the reset was helping you begin to start to find your way? Do you feel like what I explained in there makes sense? If so, then yes, it will, because we're going to really dive into it. But if you felt like you were not on the same page as me at all, no. But the problem with most art classes, as you've discovered, is the teachers show you how to do what they do, not how to do you. So that's why you take lots of classes, but you never find your own way. We're not going to do that. I'm going to do a couple more questions. Linda says, I took CVP and last year took Fine Georgia. This year's CVP was inspiring. The instruction was great. So there you go. It'd be best to talk to people who've done CVP more. Like I said, it changed my life in the same way I hope my courses change people's lives. And I really admire Nick. So I don't want anything I said to sound like a criticism. I think we have a different approach, and but it's not necessarily better or worse. CVP is a lot more money, and I really believe in keeping mine to as affordable as I can. Is it similar to the free course? I am worried it would be too hard for me. Kathy, if the reset wasn't too hard for you, it's not too hard for you. And we are here to help you, like to hold your hand through it in a way we were not for the reset because there were so many people. Yay. Con Cow Jade, welcome to Find Your Joy. Kathy, is it similar to, oh, I've just done that one. I saw another one. Any suggestions for the next 2 years? Sorry, I don't understand what that means. Yeah, Annalie, the different styles is key. I think the other thing is you have to, when you're looking for any teacher, and this goes for anyone, listen to the teacher and can you stand to listen to me for 12 weeks? Can you stand to be with, well, 13 weeks? Because I'll get really annoying if I'm even a little bit annoying in the reset. And that goes for any teacher. So I have done free courses where, not art related, but business related, where I learned a lot, but I couldn't do the full course because I was like, I cannot listen to this person every week. I really enjoyed listening to Nick when I did his course, but I've taken other courses where I've not even followed along because I just didn't enjoy the teaching. Can you offer comparison to Laura Horn's 12 module creative blend? I'm afraid I cannot because I have not had access to that. I do know Laura and I really like her. I believe that now I believe from what I know of Laura that her teaching style is much more, here is what I do. Here are my techniques. Now you go use them in your own work. It's nothing like that. We're not doing that. I'm not sharing my techniques. I might share bits with you in demos and things, but I'm not interested in that. I want to help you develop your techniques through my teaching. So I'm like the Sherpa guiding you on the path. My team are like the sheepdogs. Now we've got Sherpa and sheepdogs, but we're kind of herding everyone and we're keeping everybody on track and we're answering questions and we're giving you thought-provoking questions to think about and we're giving you painting exercises to try. Like the reset, but deeper, at a deeper level. Much more advanced learning, but not more complicated or difficult than the reset. I'm just checking if there was anything else. I took CVP and I've taken Find Your Joy twice and I'm going to sign up again. Christy, thank you. I found CVP very rigid and stressful. Everyone has their preferences, don't they? I love you, Karen. Your art strikes me as a relationship with yourself and art in holding a core line of integrity. I think so. I don't know if I understood. Sorry, I might be tired now. Could you show us your paintings you've had in a gallery just to see them? I don't go in galleries, BJ. I did. That's not true. If you go on to my website, there are some paintings in there that were in a local large gallery that's part of the national park. As part of an exhibition, they asked me to put together a solo show of abstract landscape paintings inspired by the national park, which I did. But I do not put my work into commercial galleries. I sell my work myself. Recently, I haven't even put anything up for sale for such a long time. And I really need to get back on that. But I don't, not really interested in that world. So, but you can see some of my artwork on my website. Is momentum part of Find Your Joy? No, Margaret, it's totally different and it will come up as an option later on. It's if people, after all this, want to carry on with my team in a more mentorship type way, there is another option, but it's not required or necessary. Roberta, I was going to do a fine art degree. I took CVP this year. I'm considering doing Find Your Joy. Both are pricey, but nothing like the cost of a degree. And I would say also nothing like the cost of an in-person workshop. If you do an in-person workshop near me, the cost is about £500 for 3 or 4 days with a teacher. This is less than twice that for 12 weeks. I can't teach you much in 4 or 5 days. We got a lot done in 10 days, but imagine what we can do in 12 weeks. As someone who has worked as a professional artist and been out of the studio as I raise kids, do you think your course would be helpful in getting me back into creating again, MDes? Of course, I think so. It's so hard to answer these questions. We've had lots of people in your position. But again, I would ask you, do you feel you gained from the reset? If you did, I do this partly as a way for you to see, do you feel I have anything to offer? Okay, I think we should wrap it up now. But I am going to be coming back and we'll send out an email about this. I have 2 calls scheduled at different times of the day where I will be live to answer questions in this coming week. Can't remember the days, but we'll send out details. You can also email fyjteam@gmail.com, or you can reply to any of the emails we've sent you with questions. You can also, don't put questions for us in the Facebook group because we won't see them necessarily. But you can ask people in the Facebook group, have you taken CVP? What do you think the comparison is? Do you think I should do it? All of that, feel free to chat. We won't jump in and shut down any conversation. I want you to do this course because it's the right thing for you and you're excited to be there. We only want people who really want to be there. And we don't want you to do this course if you are not feeling that excitement about being there. So make sure it's the right choice for you. Last question, Terry says, how is a coach chosen? These are people that were on my course back when I needed coaches and were amazing at helping everybody else. At the time, they were commenting on lots of things. They were answering everyone's questions. They were being very wise. I liked their artwork. I felt like they had something to offer people. And that is how I chose them. And then recent coaches were added, Susan and Alicia, again, because of what they bring to the group. They have different style of artwork. I know they have a personality that's very helpful and encouraging. And I know they truly live my principles. So they will say what I would say. And I know I can trust them to just do it without me. And that is it. I'm sorry if I missed anyone's questions on this, but we're going to answer everyone's questions. So you don't have to jump into anything you're not comfortable about. And if you are not able to join us or busy or whatever, I just, again, want to thank you because I can't tell you how inspiring I found this year's group. And I'm quite sad that we won't be doing it next year, but it'll mean that when we do come back in 2027, we'll have extra energy. So thank you very much. And any questions, feel free to ask. And if you want to ask a coach, they will answer honestly. If you want to say, do you think I should do this? And you want to tell them your situation, you don't want to ask me, it might be better to ask them that kind of question and they'll be honest with you. And sometimes they say, no, I don't think you should. So we're not in the sales business here. I am going to be emailing you each day with some new content. So don't miss that, because even though I'm also telling you, don't forget, Find Your Joy is only open for 5 more days or whatever. I have recorded some really great stuff. Tomorrow's is a video on composition with 2 really great tips that I use all the time in my compositions. And then the next day is color. So there's lots of stuff coming still to keep you learning for another 6 days. So that's it. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you for listening to me drone on all this time. This is good practice for whether you could listen to me on the course. And I will see you again. I hope I'll see you again soon. And certainly I'll see you in your email tomorrow morning with the composition video. Take care.